Welcome to episode 3 of Modding Hearts of Iron 4. In this video, we will show you how to make a new country and have it appear in the game. In order to do this, we need to do the following. Define a tag for our nation, create its country and country history files, give it a color, add a flag, add characters and their portraits, give it a name, and to finish it off, we will give it a randomly generated name list and an order of battle, or OOB for short. Before we begin, we will show you how to enable Debug mode for Hearts of Iron 4. Debug mode is a useful tool when modding Hearts of Iron 4 as it allows you to see additional information in-game that can be used while modding, along with telling the game to automatically reload specific assets such as focus trees when editing them. It also provides you with an error log that will show you any errors in your scripting that can be used to debug issues. While in Steam, right-click on Hearts of Iron 4, then click Properties. Under the General tab, look to the text box at the bottom and add the following, -debug with no spaces. This will enable debug mode every time you start the game. You can also temporarily enable it in-game by opening the console with the tilde key and entering the command debug and hitting enter. We will use the features enabled by debug mode later in the tutorial. To make our new country, first we will start by defining a tag for the country. A tag is a 3-letter identifier for that country and is used everywhere in the game to refer to that country. For example, the United States is USA and Germany is GER. To do this, we will need to give our mod a country tag file. In your mod root directory, go to Common, then create a country_tags folder. Inside the folder, create a new text document for your mod's country tags. Open the document and add your country's 3-letter tag. In this example, it will be MFC for my first country. Then after the tag, we need to tell the game the location of the country's country file. Do this by writing equals, then in quotation marks, countries / then the name of the country file. Press save. Next, we have to create the country file. We recommend that you copy a file from the base game that closely matches the country you would like to create. Create the common/countries folder under your mod's root directory. Then carefully add in the country file to the correct location, making sure to rename it to match the country file you defined. A country file contains the following information: graphical culture, which handles the generic 3D models the nation will use based on its culture. Next is the 2D graphical culture. This one will control the automatically generated portraits for leaders when no other is available, as well as aces. We recommend leaving this as the style from the country you copied the files from. Next is the country color. Here the country color needs to be defined as an RGB color and then entered as 3 RGB values for red, green, and blue. However, when defining a country color, it does not provide a color to 2D graphical elements such as the counters when the counter colors toggle is switched on. These will default to gray unless specified in a special file called the colors file. There can only be one colors file, so adding it to your mod will mean your mod is no longer compatible with any other mods that add or edits countries. You will have to keep this file up to date with patches when the vanilla game adds new countries. To do this, go to your vanilla Hearts of Iron 4 root directory, then Common, then Countries, and find colors.txt. Copy this and paste it to your mod's equivalent directory. Then open the file and scroll to the bottom. Add a new entry to the file for your country tag using the same format as the other entries. Enter the colors you want and press save. Now we need to make flags for our country. Flags can be either a .tga or .dds file format. The .tga file format can be edited in most image editing programs and will be the easiest to use. Each country needs to have at least one flag, and the flag needs to come in different sizes. These sizes are shown as the large, medium, and small sizes. Large being 82 by 52 pixels, medium being 41 by 26 pixels, and finally small being 10 by 7 pixels. Each flag size is used in a different part of the game when displaying the flag for the nation. The flag's name must start with the country's tag. You can define flags for specific ideologies by adding after the tag an underscore with the ideology name. In this example, we have MFC_democratic.tga, which means that the flag is only used when the country has the democratic government type. To add the flag, create a GFX folder in your mod's root directory, then add a flags folder. Inside this folder, you need to make a medium and small folder for the medium and small flags. Then add your flags with the tag as the name, If you do not add the ideology after the tag, then this flag will be used as the default flag in any case. To give your country a name on the map, we need to add it as a localization file. In this example, we have created a new localization file and have added a base name, a definitive name, and an adjective name for the country, as well as one for the same country if they have the non-aligned ideology, known in the code as neutrality. The base name is the one you see on the map. The definitive name is often used in events and most commonly includes putting the word "the" in front of the country's name so that it makes grammatical sense in context. The adjective is used to refer to the people of the country or the country as a whole as an adjective. Now we will add characters for our nation. Characters can either be a country leader, a field marshal, a general, an admiral, or an advisor. A character cannot be a field marshal, a general, or an admiral at the same time, but all can be a country leader and an advisor at the same time. To create the character, we will create a folder called Characters under Common, and then a text file for the characters. Here is the one we created. The contents of this file are all wrapped in a characters block. Each character is then defined in its own block, with the character's identifier being the opener of the block. The two most important parts of each character block is the character's name and the portraits. The name is a reference to the localization value for that character's name. The portraits can either be defined as army or civilian and can have both a large and a small version. Civilian portraits are used for the character as the country leader. Army portraits are used as the character as a general, admiral, or field marshal. If the character only has one set of portraits, then they will use the portraits for both roles. Large portraits are used for the characters in their roles such as country leader, field marshal, general, or admiral. Small portraits are used for the characters that are advisors. To add a portrait, navigate to your mod's GFX folder. Then create a folder called Leaders. In this folder, you can add any leader portraits you wish. We have created a folder for our nation, and inside it you will see we have added a leader portrait. Leader portraits should be of the TGA or DDS file format, and they should be 156 by 210 pixels in size. Next, we have to create a graphic sprite for the portrait. Return to your mod's root folder, then create an interface folder. In this folder, create a new file with the .gfx extension. A GFX file is a special text file used by the game to tell it where specific art assets are located. We want to create a sprites type block as our top level block, then another sprite type block within. Here we will give the art asset a name and tell the game where to find it as a texture file. There are naming conventions around what your sprite types should be called. In the case for portraits, they should start with gfx_portrait. If you are unsure, it's always a good idea to check the vanilla game's files to see how it is done there. Finally, ensure you have defined the character's name in a localization file. Now we will add the country to the map. In order to do this, we need to know what states to give our country and then edit the history file of those states to give it to our country. To find what states to edit, we need to know the state's ID. One way to find the state's ID is to start the game with the debug mode enabled. With debug mode enabled, when you hover your cursor over a state on the map, you will see additional information on the tooltip. Here, we can see that the state ID for this state is 123. We want to give this state to our nation. Using this information, we can copy the state history file from the vanilla game to our mod. First, go to our mod and create a folder called History in the root directory. Then in the History folder, create another folder called States. Next, go to the vanilla game's root directory, go into the States folder, and find the file that starts with 123. Then copy it into the States folder in our new mod. Next, open the file. The history file will be described in depth in a later tutorial. For now, all we need to do is go into the history block and change the state's owner to be the tag for our new nation, and then add that state as a core to our nation. Now, we will create a history file for our nation. History files define the start state for our country at the beginning of the game. What ideology it is, what technologies it has, its number of research slots, stability and war support, along with many other aspects of the game. They can be complex with a lot of different options, but in this example, we will break it down to the bare minimum required. First, a history file is a text file, and its name must start with the tag of our nation. After the tag, the name can be anything you want, but the naming convention is to have a dash then the country name. When you open the file, the first thing you want to set is the capital state. In this example, we only have one state, so our capital state will be state number 123. Next, we need to define an order of battle, or OOB for short. This will be explained in greater depth later. If you want the nation to start with convoys for trade and transport, then you can define them with set_convoys, followed by the number they have stockpiled. Without this, they will start the game with no convoys. To set the number of research slots the country starts with, use set_research_slots, followed by the number of slots. If you do not include this, the nation will default to 3. Next, we have a set technology block. Here we define what technology the nation starts having researched by having the ID of that technology, followed by the number 1. Next, we have to set a politics block. This is where we define what ideology rules the nation. After that is a set popularities block. Here we define the percentage of popularity each ideology has in that nation. The numbers must add up to 100. Finally, we have the recruit character statements. This tells the game that this nation currently has access to the defined characters. Here, we have a recruit character statement for each of the characters we created earlier. Now, we will create an OOB for a nation. An OOB defines what templates a nation has access to and any divisions in it at the start of the game. Without an OOB, the nation will not have any templates, meaning that it will have no way to create new divisions. Under your mod's history folder, create a folder called Units. Then create a text file. The file can have any name, but the convention is your country tag, an underscore, and then the year of the bookmark the OOB file is for. Inside the OOB, first you have to define your division templates in a division template block. Here, we have an infantry division. This is made up of 6 infantry regiments in the regiments block. First, define the unit you want to have, in this case, infantry, followed by the location in the division template where X is the row and Y is the column. It is important to make sure you get the positioning of the regiments in the template in the correct order, where X equals 0 and Y equals 0 is the top left corner of the template as viewed in the division designer. There should be no gaps in numbers either. Failing to do this will cause bugs with the division designer for this template. Below the regiments block, we will have a support block. Here, you can add any support companies to the division template. In this example, we have engineers and artillery. Below the infantry design template, we have the cavalry division template. This template is structured the same way as the infantry division template, but contains cavalry instead of infantry. Once the templates have been defined, you can next add units to the map using those templates. To do this, create a units block, then inside it, create a division block. Next, give your division a name, a location on the map, which is the province ID for where the division will spawn. You can get these IDs using the Debug tooltip in-game the same way we did with the state ID. Next is the division template that this division uses. Finally, we have the starting experience factor. This defines how experienced a division is at the start of the game, where 0 equals none and 1 equals maximum experience. To tell the game to use this OOB file for a nation, we need to make sure that the name used in the OOB statement in our country history file matches the name of our OOB file without the text extension. For the final touch to our nation, we will create a name list. This name list is used to randomly generate characters for our nation, such as new generals, aces, and random leaders. To do this, navigate to your mod's common folder, then create a folder called Names. Then create a text file with any name you want. We recommend you use the Vanilla Games names file as a reference when creating this section. Open the file and you can add a block for your nation using its tag. Then you can define the male and female first names, and then surnames for characters. Next is call signs for aces. Finally is operation names for battle plans on the map. Each name is not a reference to a localization file. Instead, the name is read as is and is used in the game. Each name is separated by a space. If you require a space in the name, you can wrap the name in quotation marks to allow for this. With this all done, we can start the game and view our new country. Congratulations! You have now learned the basics on how to create a country in Hearts of Iron 4. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to tune in for the next episode in Modding Hoi 4.